Mr. Nelson, you've been in suspended animation for quite some time now, but it's time for day 9, track 9 of the NightChild reviews. Mr. Nelson. This is the shortest track on the album, and yet a really fascinating track. I often find when Prince has quite a short song that he really packs in so many different elements, and there's so much to digest in his track. You really do have to listen to it a number of different times to pick up on all the different things that are going on. It's a really interesting track. This features Leanne Lavis, the fantastic British singer, and it is largely an instrumental track. But it's really fascinating. You've got so many things going on. It starts off with this kind of melodic, quite chilled out vibe with keyboards, Leanne's voice, and you've got kind of lots of background programming and beats, and it takes several listens to really take in all the different elements going on. But the fascinating thing about this is this is a song that really has two distinct phases, and I kind of liken it to the fact that the first half of the song is almost like Prince is in a dream. He's in he's waking from REM like he's in Hard Rock Lover, and he's kind of in this dream state. And as the second part of the song moves on, he's kind of been pulled out of that dream, pulled back into the kind of the world, and he's kind of that transition, because it starts off with that kind of really melodic vibe, and you've got kind of up for 35 seconds you've got the classic few lines from Clouds, which this song is based on, from the Artificial Age project, and it sort of says, we don't need no clouds, and Leanne says, where you are now is a place that does not require time. It's kind of very much like the affirmations on Artificial Age. But then at 56 seconds it all changes. Leanne's voice tells off, time, and it just speeds up and speeds up and speeds up. And then it goes, you've introduced these kind of deep, kind of bassy, throbbing effects. You've got the kind of club beat, and suddenly you're at a club, and suddenly it's kind of like, it's a kind of classic club party anthem, and it just builds and builds and builds. So you've got these two very distinct halves, and it's really quite fascinating how Prince does that. I also think there's a really interesting part where Leanne is saying, Mr. Nelson, and it's very much like the affirmations as I mentioned, but it's kind of like, come back, into the waking life. He's kind of been in this dream state of suspended animation, and he's kind of, coming back, and Leanne is trying to pull Prince back into the kind of the new world, and he's sort of, Mr. Nelson, and it gives this real feeling of a dream song, and it really just is an amazing vibe. It's sort of like in between consciousness, so fascinating stuff. It's kind of so much going on. At 1 minute 36 you've got this amazing effect which I cannot describe. You've got to listen to it. 1:36, just loads of stuff going on. It's really fascinating. 1:56 you've got a classic rock guitar, a Prince track with a classic rock guitar. What more could you want? You've kind of got that. You've got the kind of interplay with Leanne's voice, and Prince is like kind of Mr. Nelson. It's kind of, he's speeding up, and it's club, it's modern, it's slow, chilled out, vibing, kind of melodic, and then building into this club anthem. It's kind of these very different ideas. It's a really fascinating track. It's one of those tracks that there's so much going on. Often there are tracks which are very short, like Had You, for example, from the Chaos and Disorder album, which, although they're really short, just pack in so much, and you can spend so much time discussing them. There's so many things going on, and it really is quite interesting. Some people have said, perhaps they would want like an extended version of this. I want to know what direction it would go in after this. Would it follow from the beginning of the track or the end of the track? Would it go into the kind of classic club anthem guitar, or would it stay with a kind of melodic, chilled out vibe, like after a party, a kind of chill out zone? It's quite fascinating, and how this track really took me by surprise, because I really don't know how to exactly place this track. I don't think Prince has really done that much like this before. It's really quite different. I really love it. It really fascinates me. There's so much going on, and there's so many different elements to it that it really took me by surprise. I'd really love to know what you think about this track, because there are so many different elements to it. Even though it's quite short, it's just a fascinating track, and it really threw me. It's part of the album that's sort of starting to change direction. We go into two classic songs towards the end, which the next two songs are probably among the fan favourites I've seen so far. They really are. But this is a really interesting track. Let me know what you think about Mr. Nelson. Thank you.